Hi, Aditi. Okay, Aditi, we are ready and we are actually uh, live on our Facebook. And I just take a minute and check our Facebook as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, Aditi, we are live here. And just to give a synopsis, hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside Out Life Stories of People. Inside Out, this was kind of going on in my head for a long 1 year. And I thought that, yeah, stories does matter, you know. Whenever you go to the gatherings, you go to the weddings, you're meeting friends, you're in the school setups or in your workplace, in that case, you see that people are interacting all the time. And I used to sit and quietly think through what is that we are talking about. And I always felt that we're talking about our experiences, we are talking about our life, we are talking about our success stories, we are talking about our agonies too. Sometimes we are feeling low, we talk to our friends about it. I felt, yeah, these are all the stories all of us have. And I've also noticed that the different people behave differently, the choice of their stories, revisiting the stories again. So everything kind of tells about who they are, where they are, and why they are here, where they are. So, a lot of things get answered that ways. And I'm sure all of us have those stories, you, me, and everybody. And there is a lot of drama, emotions, pain, hurt, excitement, love, failure, success, everything is going in our life. And still, people live their way, the way they want to live. And I don't think so. Any human in that case is born genius. I feel that we kind of become that through our experiences and the stories we keep telling to ourselves. And this thought was always there in me. And I wanted to bring forward this platform of Inside Out. And we want to tell that people can actually install most beautiful capabilities where they can listen to the stories of successful people and try and resonate with their life, try and adapt something, get some installations done unconsciously, and bring that change in their life. um, Also, one social agenda was there in my head, Aditi, that uh, there is a lot of thing happening on the social media. You would see all the success stories coming there. So we are kind of seeing only the outside of the stories. And even the youth nowadays, you would see there are a lot of mental health issues coming because of that, because we only see the goodness around, we only see the success stories, and we don't know that stories are back in time. They're forming, from a long time. There's a lot happening in somebody's life which actually caused them where they are today. We do not pivot our focus there. And that made me bring this forum forward. And I am more than privileged, Ratnesh and Aditi, having you two here on this platform, being my first guest of Inside Out. And there is a reason behind it. You know why? um, you have always been an inspiration for me, both of you. The kind of work you do, the passion you have, and that zeal inside I see in you. Always, I was excited to know what is your back end story. Because sitting here, just by learning from Ratnesh and interacting with you and even working with you together, I just cannot reach to your backstory. So I want to know that. I want to learn from that. Who you are today, what made you, how come you be Aditi and Ratnesh working so beautifully in Aarohi? Who you are behind that? So let's go forward and let me begin this communication by asking you, um, what is Aarohi?
Yeah. So, okay. So, Aarohi, um, it's a place where we just live,
Mhm.
and anybody who wants to learn and live together, experience self uh,
Mm.
through through people around. That's where it's a community. So we call it open learning community. And
Okay.
anything else that you want to add to it?
Yeah, I think you've already said that it's all about self, it's all about discovering oneself. And that can only happen when I explore myself, not when I'm constantly fed something from, let's say, a school or a curriculum or a college or whatever. But when I struggle, when I fail, when I explore, experiment. So it's a space to do that, and it's open to any individual, any child who does not want to subscribe to the kind of regular conventional schooling, but wants to do open learning and just wants to learn and do what they want to do. The advantage being you do it in a community setting, which means with a lot of other people around who are there to fight with you, support you, etc.
I'm also curious because we're talking a lot of sense that learning does happen all by itself. And this is what children should be exposed to. I have a question, Ratnesh and Aditi. What was your background? I mean, you were never into, I hope not into this kind of a community learning or something. You've coming from, I believe, the same conventional way of like getting into 12th and graduating, then masters and everything. So tell us, like, what was your background and why this shift? What made you think like this?
Right. So it unfortunately doesn't have one turning point which we can place our finger about.
Exactly. I think that is where we want to pivot our focus on. Like there are a lot of stories in your basket. I know that. And I'm sure in this one session we cannot cover your life story. And I told Aditi I would love to continue with you. I also believe stories, it is kind of, it tend to have a beginning, middle, and ending. So let us begin today, and
Hmm.
then we'll see how we go to the middle and then the ending from your life story. So just share with us some of your.
So one of the you can say the story is that when we decided to homeschool our Sauri, our daughter, who is now 22. She was 10 year at that time. Uh, I still remember that night when we took that decision, and I asked Ratnesh that are we the only one who is doing this? Kind of everything around was talking something else, and then we took this decision, and uh, so somewhere this feeling that are we the only one doing it?
Hmm.
Uh, Possibly, and but we went ahead and took that decision. uh, we did for 6 month homeschooling and realizes that only for one child, I would go and meet a resource person, 15-kilometer drive, coming back, taking her, spending time with that resource person. And I would feel that okay, there is so much of pressure around for our children, for not only children, for
For
because I
us, yeah.
I would also feel very excited meeting those people, learning from them. And I think somewhere that the seed of let's do it together um, started. So it actually began with the say people coming together, parents coming together. It was not a community format, but the you will say intention was always there. And then every time we go back and ask that, is that what we want?
Hmm.
So a lot of things, it changed the way the money matters, the way the contribution or the way people come together, the way people, we so I think so that's how the slowly and finally means I really don't know if we have reached there, but
Hmm.
we know we are there. This whole concept of community learning um, brings so much of connection, and breaks a lot of things which we wish that it should happen.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I wish that my child should be supported by many different people. I wish that there is something this for my child. So wishing was not enough for us. So that's where we went ahead,
Began the journey
and still constantly I think the efforts are that how do we bring back that whole concept of community learning. Yeah, I remember growing as a child, as a nuclear family, growing up, I always wish that, not sure whether either these two are connected or not, but always wish that we had a bigger family, and where people are connected, and then we have kind of a thing. So yeah, maybe culturally we have seen those. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of disadvantages, but I think advantages are far more than uh, even disadvantages, which we are consider as it's all human relationship. It's all about living together. So I see that way. I don't see any disadvantage. It's just that our incapability to connect with people leads to that. Okay, now I want to live alone, kind of a thing, and all those.
so I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges too during this decision of
I,
yours.
Right.
yeah, that's it.
I think the challenge finished by one decision that we took when we started our married life. Um, was that so we had a long affair, and then we got married. So it was all started in college, and then we got married, and then we were in Mumbai, both doing our jobs,
Yeah.
and we realized, no, this isn't the life that we want to live. So the decision that we took is, okay, let's, whatever we do, we will do it together. We two together. We will not separately work.
Hmm.
Right? And I think that was where the challenges now went out of the window, because whatever would be, let's say, my failing, she would come up. Whatever is her failing, I will come up. And like a striker, non-striker, or whatever you want to call it, mixed doubles partner in tennis, or whatever, however you want to see the analogy. I think then the challenges weren't challenge, because the same challenge wasn't challenge for her when it was for me, and it wasn't a challenge for other way around for me when it was for her. So that way, I think we never really faced any challenges, because we were always a team who had very different styles, very different ways of working,
And I
but we
think,
were together.
yeah, this is going to be a lovely example for many those couples who are working together now. I mean, I am one of those who've been working, like we working together, and somehow, somewhere we feel down the line, oh God, after some time, oh, better husband and wife should work separately. So that's a great learning from you, that it's not about not working together. In fact, even a couple can be a great source of inspiration to each other while being into the same set of work and taking calls that ways. That's so wonderful. Aditi, after you decided for your daughter to get into the this way of learning, the community learning, how did she adapt to it?
Uh, yeah, she was the eldest in the beginning, and I think she's still one of the eldest community member in that age group, kind of thing. Um, so as a family, for us, a lot of these boundaries got faded when we uh, she connecting with all different ages, not only different ages, the younger ones and all, even say mothers or fathers of those younger
The
children,
uncles and the aunties
uncles
for
and the
her, yeah.
aunties, they learn from me, having discussion, debates, arguments, uh, talking about it, and sharing her own thing, and then people bringing different point of views for her. So all these small little experiences which she has shared, so that's how I'm sharing with you, is that has affected her in a big way.
Hmm.
In that sense, that has helped us to create what she wanted to create in a in a different way. um, so there's as a human being we see a lot of acceptance for different styles of people, different attitudes of people,
Hmm. Hmm.
kind of a thing. Appreciation for what people are, what people are for, kind of a thing. Looking for it. So I find that's a very beautiful thing for us as a family to experience it. At the same time, also have our own personal space as an individual. I think whether we take a unit of 4 or we take the unit of 40, uh, I think this space, if this group can give us, whether the family, even with husband, wife, or with 2 children, we also say, now I need my time. I think I, as an individual, still exist.
Hmm.
And I, as a community member, whether it's a community of Aarohi or it's a community of neighborhood or it's a community of the country,
Or just the family of
or
4 people.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
Family
that my space matters, and then our space matters, and
matters.
that's how we connect with each other. So
I think that is what is somehow missing in the schools nowadays, where there's segments and categories, and children are not able to be able to dwell well with all ages and with different kind of people and still be themselves. So that is one amiss in today's setup of the schools where I see. What do you think, according to you, where do you keep on the scale of the alternative education and the way the education is right now going on? What is going to be the future as per you?
oh, I don't think we can compare to, it's like, comparing oranges with apples, or these are two different choices, I will say, which one makes. So within two different choices, there are many different choices. So the question would be that what is that I want?
Hmm.
Yeah. One of the things which we constantly ask ourselves is that we just can't sit and crib about what is happening around. Yeah, we
Right.
need we need to bring an action. We just can't take people are not loving each other. We need to create a space where people can love, people can hate, people can talk, people can express, people can understand each other. Children can grow in that environment. So I think it depends. So if you ask me, whatever is the education right now, it's not that somebody else from coming from Venus and creating that for us, kind of a thing. It's we who want. If I want that, it's there available for me.
Mm.
If I want this, it's available for me.
Available.
So I
It's
think it's a
more
matter of what is that,
what you choose to
what
go
we demand from the people around us. Yeah, that makes you want.
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ratnesh, what do you think?
I'm trying to go to the seed of all this, and I think the seed to me is both of us, uh, in a sense, question the status quo. When we were getting married, we questioned why money has to be spent with so much fanfare,
Yeah,
right? Why do we have to stress ourselves? And meaning, I am saying our parents, why do they need to stress ourselves to have a grand marriage?
marriage.
So
Yeah.
why can't it be very simple and yet joyous? I mean, we'll invite all the relatives, but we don't need to have fanfare. So I'm just giving you one example. So we started there. That time, obviously, children and education was nothing in our agenda. So every time questioning, why this way, why this way, why this way, and even today we are still questioning.
Uh,
Whatever is the status quo, why it has to be like this? Why can't it be? Why can't it be just something else, which makes more sense to us? So
mm.
I think that's been the seed of all of this, whatever we are talking about. This whole act of questioning, questioning education, questioning whatever you want to call, questioning relationships, questioning everything actually.
So, in a way, you're trying to say it's like you were questioning each and every moment of your life, but then don't you think that what ecosystem you would have had that made you capable enough to question and then arrive to a conclusion that made a lot of sense for you too? But there are a lot of people who probably question but could not reach to that conclusion because of the kind of life they've been experiencing. So, is there something was different with you in your life? that made you take certain decisions which were sane, beautiful, and it worked for you?
Uh, Personally, I don't know where this questioning thing came to both of us, not just one of us. Uh,
So yeah,
Personally, I don't know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I also think, as I go back, is that I grew up with listening a lot of these problems in the society, which say dowry become being one of them, and girl child being one of the not so good thing about the society. I grew up listening all these stories
Hmm.
happening around in my neighborhood, kind of a thing. So somewhere that discomfort was there, but they never questioned it, never talked about it,
But
just grew up.
Aditi, in
But
some way, your parents also question. They moved out of there at that time
yeah,
community, and in some way, I would say my parents were also a little bit the questioning kind.
yeah,
I'll give you a very an example that I keep giving to my parents. When I went into 11th standard, they said you have to take physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. Now, I didn't want to take biology, and I was in Kendriya Vidyalaya. Right?
Okay.
Now, the CBSE, Kendriya Vidyalaya, you have to take 5 subjects: English, physics, chemistry, maths, and biology. Now, I said to my mom and dad, both being doctors, that I don't want biology. Right? So they said, okay, so let's go and talk to the school. That if you don't want biology, can you do CBSE 12th Kendriya Vidyalaya with 4 subjects? And you won't believe it, I am perhaps the rare person who still have a mark sheet with only 4 subjects.
Really?
Really, in Kendriya Vidyalaya, in CBSE, that government school, I have 4 subjects degree in my 12th, whatever
Okay.
certificate in my 12th. So my parents, my mother totally supported it and
Okay.
said, okay, let's question this. Why do you need to? She said, if the logic is to either you're interested in physics, chemistry, maths, why should you study biology? You don't want to go to medical. So let's logic it out. And she questioned it and she got away with it. So I think somewhere maybe the seed got planted in both of us, that one can question and one can find a way when something is not looking fitting in with your need. One doesn't have to
yeah,
just flow with everybody else.
yeah,
Situation.
yeah. So I think one of the things which I say is that we both says is we don't know whether we are lucky or the way we have, whether we look at our family, whether we even look at our parents, a lot of huge amount of trust in us.
Hmm.
Whether we were in college, I remember as a girl child, I was given all kinds of freedom to use or misuse both ways.
Yeah, she misused it and had an affair with me.
Come to the episodes where you have actually misused the freedom. So, okay, let us know one.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll share. See, it like for example, yeah. So I did tell lies and go meet and Ratnesh. So that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Uh,
the whole love story happened in college without the parents knowing.
but still, that's still a huge amount of trust on us. It's not about our behavior which they question. It's about this. She always said, I know, my mother, father, they always said, I know what you're doing is you're doing with a thought process.
Hmm.
And she repeated the same thing when we say when we got married, when we question, there's not a single rupee exchange, not a single thing will be bought for me as a to be
Gift.
given kind
Given.
of a thing. So she when the parents were there with us, then when we adopted our son, so
Hmm.
although they had little question in the beginning, but they said finally we thought that both of you whatever you're doing is doing with a lot of intelligence, she used this word, the thinking. So we are fine with whatever decisions you're taking. I think it's a huge thing for a parent to be able to give that to your child.
Trust.
Yeah, so and they didn't go through any of the parenting lessons or anything. I think it's just that they
Absolutely, I'm
uh,
sure.
yeah, even when I talk to my father is no more there, but my mother, whenever I talk to her,
Hmm.
she only says that, yeah, I know what you're doing is great.
Hmm.
She hardly knows in that sense.
Yeah.
The decision for our children not to give 10th exam and all, she did try to understand, but then she said, and it was a big thing. She was not, my mother was not educated. She thought I should be educated. I became, and now my children are, in that sense, doesn't have degree.
Illiterate. They have not given any 10, 12. Both the children.
Yeah. But what my parents, even Ratnesh family, is such a huge support for us, and none of our families are on the path which we are on. Yeah.
Okay.
They are in conventional jobs, their children are in conventional education, so it's not that as a family we
Believed in this.
believed in
But they
this.
just said, okay, you want to do it this way, go ahead. I mean, or rather, they didn't even say this. They just let us do it. And that was the biggest saying, without kind of uh, questioning us.
Right. I think to some extent that's what is beautiful about human life, when you kind of disassociate. It's okay, I have children, but I do not have right on their decisions and the way they want to live their life. And then, they can go forward. And in fact, yeah, I'm trying to mirror you. So I can also tell that my daughter started her job after she came from she completed her graduates and studies, and she came back and she started her job, and she said, I'm not at all 9 to 5 person. I cannot. So one question is, okay, if you cannot do this, what is that you think you can? So that one question kind of triggered her, and she said, I can design clothes. Imagine coming from US finance, and after 6 months she's telling me, I can design clothes, get me a machine or something, let me have hands on.
Wow.
I bought a machine for her. I said, go ahead, do it, whatever you want. And today she's come up with a startup called Upshop, and they do sustainable clothing,
Wow.
the procuring material from the fabricators and exporters, which is waste for them, which normally goes to the landfill. And they're creating stuff out of it. And it's wonderful. I will share the stuff with you. So this is what I've learned from you and Ratnesh, for sure. To let them be themselves, and then let them explore. You never know what direction they take for their life.
True, true.
That's so beautiful. And also, I have seen O Campus online. So, how did it happen to you? It's a beautiful place. People long for having such places, In Delhi, you ask me, I would long to have that beautiful piece of land, but it happened to you both. So, tell us something about
I
that.
think, should we tell her or tell her only when she comes here?
No,
She hasn't earned it.
I'm planning to be there. My son is in Bangalore. I said, I'll accompany you. You go somewhere else, I'll go to Aarohi. Let us know. I mean, that is so beautiful to, see the landscape there.
Yeah, yeah. So the story is very simple. When in city space, when children started showing that they need a bigger space, kind of a thing, and as the things were growing in Arohi, we needed a bigger space where children can move around, and we shared our thought with some of our parents and friends that, okay, uh, what if we have a campus which is open and where children can create their lives. And within a week's time, one of the child's grandfather, he said, I have this land, I bought it to create a school, but I'm not able to do it, and your intentions are great, go ahead and you take that land. We couldn't believe ourselves that somebody is there. Yeah, another generous person. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing, no celebrity, he's not millionaire or
Mm.
nothing like that.
I still get goosebumps anytime I talk about it. Meaning somebody just saying 5 acres land, take it. That's it, period. No questions asked, no nothing. How will you do? What will you do? Where is your plan? No nothing. And only once in 1 or 2 years he would just come to say hello. That also he would bring some saplings along to plant in the
Bring
campus.
sandwiches for us.
And make sandwiches for each one of us. And at that age, 80 something,
He just expired 2 years back.
amazing, amazing soul.
So
Amazing.
so that's how it landed up. So, but we took 6 months to decide whether are we ready or not.
Pick it
And
up or not. Yes.
yeah, take it up or not. Yeah, and actually after we shifted here, so it feels very, I will say, again, it's doing, yeah. Till I'm out of these things, it feels, oh wow, open space and this and all those kind of things. But in our growing up, we have actually not connected with any of the elements around us. As simple as that, where does my water goes, where my water comes from, um, uh, what is it, what does it mean to grow a tree? I mean, we talk so much in our education about all this, but I felt that when I started growing up things here, and when I started seeing things around, uh, started understanding what does, say, our land has elephant movement, what does forest fire mean, what does living with snakes mean, what does insect means. Us maximum insect interaction was a cockroach for us in the kind of a thing. And I think there is a lot of inner transformation just by, uh, I don't know. So
Also by
I
being inner transformation, since you mentioned that, being with the rural folk, they're
yeah.
so
Mm.
simple. uh, I'm not talking in some romantic language that they are
Ah.
simple yet happy, but that is what I've learned from them,
Mm.
right? I was, when I came in this campus, I was, this work has to happen today and this work has to happen by next weekend. And they would say,
हो
sir,
जाएगा.
tomorrow we'll do it. What is it? They wouldn't say, what's the hurry? They will say, no, we are going now. Tomorrow we'll do it. And tomorrow they have some habba, so they will go there to sing and dance. And so they will do it next day, sir. What is this? So
Mm.
then I realized, oh yeah, meaning
They're
what are we
living
doing?
life,
They're
yeah.
living, they are the ones who are actually living life, right?
Mm.
We are the ones who keep, put money in safe deposits and whatever, all kinds of
On
deposits,
go,
thinking we will
on go.
someday go for a holiday. For them, every day is both a day to work and a day to holiday.
Mm.
And this is one thing that I totally changed
Yeah,
my outlook towards
I
everything.
actually say to mean, I don't know, that at least for 1 year live in a village, any village, yeah.
Mm.
And I experienced my inner transformation. Like when we were in city, you buy a one diamond earring, and then already the second list is already ready. Next time I will buy this.
Absolutely right.
I never felt satisfied with what I bought that day,
Huh.
because the shop had some 10 more options.
Some
And
bracelets,
bra-
some necklace.
so my
You're buying here, but your eyes are there, no?
yeah.
Yeah.
So my next list was always ready, kind of a thing.
Right.
But when I shifted to here, and I realized that in the house which we took for rent, we were the richest person. You know why? Because we had a water tank.
Mm.
Nobody in the village had a water tank. They had
No,
only one shared tap where everybody goes in the morning to fill the water.
and we had a tank where we could take the water and then realize the importance of water being stored and a
And we
tap.
had to pull it out. We couldn't, there was
We
no
didn't have the
motor
tap.
or anything.
Yeah, we didn't have the tap, we didn't have the motor, and the amount of joy we had in taking out that, uh, amount of joy we had just sitting outside and just talking and observing them, how things are happening. uh, I'm not sure that the people who helped us in transformation are thinking in that way. They must be thinking in whatever way they thinking, but it's our own kind of a thing. Has it has been beautiful experience. So so it's not that for the those um, romantic lifestyle which you talk about, a farm life and all those kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
It's a
It's the
inner
people,
peace.
yeah.
It's the inner peace which brings you. So yeah,
So
I don't know if diverted the discussion or
no,
what you.
it is not at all. I mean, that's the purpose of Inside Out. I mean, it's almost what? With you, it's like more than 5 years relationship. I never knew these things. This is the learning for me too. This is what the story is about. I mean, I simply believe, Aditi, that the persona you carry is, it's telling your history always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind person is that tells what life you have lived. And that's why I always say, how come you're so calm? This is where it is coming from. When you don't have a hustle bustle, no hurry, nothing, things are smooth. Okay, aaj nahi hua, kal ho jayega. And then people are in the life and enjoying everything. That's what makes your body language. And that's why I was more interested in knowing the stories.
Yeah, yeah, to add to it, it's not that the number of hours are less. We almost work 16 to 18 hours a day,
I'm sure.
and all of us around us work in terms of, yeah,
Equally.
equally. But yeah, I think what you say is this is a lot of peace in those
Peace.
hours. In those
Exactly.
hours. So,
And I think then is where the resourcefulness comes.
yeah,
When
Mm.
you are at peace, when you're not at peace, I mean, I see myself, if for a day I'm not at peace, that day I scrutinize my schedule. I feel I've not even worked for 10 minutes, running around here and there, and I don't know what I've done for the day. Probably nothing.
yeah,
I'm understanding what you're saying, and that is what this very important for all of us to actually experience too. Not only listen, to actually get embedded and experience too. I mean, I would invite everybody to go to Aarohi. Even I'll try to be there.
Yeah,
So
which is why at the gate we write the first two words that everybody who enters is go slow.
Arohi ahead.
Right. Because people come and say, where is this? Where is that? Can I talk to you? I say, okay, okay, we'll talk after 5 days. We need, what's the hurry? First, soak in the place, enjoy seeing, enjoy doing. Just being with something is more important than actually creating some results or whatever, getting something out of something.
yeah, true.
Yeah, that's become our understanding on our life also. Yeah.
Hmm. True, I think the whole analogy if is applied to life, going slow while you're talking, while you're eating, while you're working, while you are at some place, even driving. I think it
Yeah.
works everywhere.
Today itself, we were doing carpentry with some children, and I was telling them, if you work slow, you work fast.
Fast, exactly.
And it took them little time to understand what I'm trying to say. How can working slow be
Working slow,
working fast?
slow fast.
Right? But then once they get it, they realize, oh yeah, oh, it makes sense, right? Because
Exactly.
so
Yeah, so just want to share one experience we have here. Is that every Sunday there is a vegetable market, and so we used to go to buy the vegetable in the market, and they put, okay, this is 10 rupees ka. They will just make
bound.
that's the culture here, and they will say, okay, so you take that, and there is a bag full of vegetable back of that, and all the vegetable vendor, they will pick little more and put it in your bag, just like that. And it's not only for us, it's a general practice out there. And we come from that, acha 10 rupees ka itna hi hai, or kind of that frame of mind. It was such a slap on our face when we when we experienced this. We said, oh my god, what are we talking? Where are we? Look at this here. The and
And I want to add that I can't resist that. So these slightly elderly ladies will be there, and they will see me every week coming. And after some weeks, they started scolding me that what you are only eating bhindi. Why not eat this more local vegetable? This is good. And they will, dump a whole lot in my bag, and they will refuse to take money. I'm not even asked for that vegetable, but they want me to eat that. They are thinking, according to them, they need to teach me some way of living. And I'm like, about 50 years old. I'm not even like a kid. And they will literally, scold me like a kid and love me like a kid and give me all those extra vegetables, obviously refusing money. And then it was just the glow on their face, I think was so amazing, like repeatedly year after year. It's not like a one time thing. They're not trying to make business. They're not complaining if next day you don't go to them. That's not the whole approach. So I think, uh, yeah, there's a lot to learn here.
a lot of these small experiences have really made a lot of.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're talking about the vegetable thing, and I'm kind of visualizing the vegetable market in Delhi, where a woman would fight for some extra mirchis. भैया डाल दो इसमें थोड़ा सा और, ये तो बहुत महंगा है. Paradigm shift, the different places and how the life is different in different
Yeah.
sectors. So beautiful that is. And after all this, the community and this beautiful life and everything, how are children growing? They're like, they have completed their, say, secondary and they want to move out. How the life is for them outside? Are there any challenges or they're better off?
Mm, uh, yeah, as far as I know, actually there are no challenges. Means
Okay.
both my children are able to. In fact, my son right now, he's 15-year-old, and he's living with another family in Bangalore because he needs to stay there for, say, his football coaching. So he
Okay.
come back to campus during the weekend, and he's staying with one of our friends' parents.
Okay.
So for him, they are grandparents,
Hmm.
and they know only Kannada, and he doesn't know any Kannada, and this is so much.
So how is he interacting with them these days?
So he lives with them. They cook for him. I mean, they eat together. He also helps them, and he's the one who doesn't like here. He would not talk to more people, kind of a thing, and
Okay. Mhm.
all that. But now he's there, and auntie is so compassionate, so and then he's receiving that, and even cooking with her, cooking for her, helping her with different things. Her other grandchildren, he will teach them, okay, you do work, I will help them in their homework and all. And if you meet my son, you will not say that he that kind of a child he is. So I find it's great for them to be able to create for themselves whichever area they want to create,
Hmm.
wherever they, whether they are in city or whether they are in village or whether they
And
are.
also, it's so beautiful, Aditi, without even being understanding Kannada, the same language, they're not able to interact much, but still that passion, that love, even the eyes speak, even the body language talk, and you are comfortable with the set of people, even if you're not talking through words, you
Yeah.
can actually live, you can be a part of the family. And I think that is what is kind of installed by the way the community is building and the way they've been nurtured there in Aarohi. All right. So what else you think is most, the most exciting episodes of your life you would like to share? Which, if I say exciting and it quickly triggers your mind, okay, this one. So what is that Lala moment sometime in your life?
Maybe the decision to adopt our son. So
Okay.
our first, meaning our daughter was the biological child, and I don't know where, for what reason, we started questioning, if we want to have a second child, why have a biological child when we can adopt?
Why not
There
adopt?
are so many children who don't really have parents, so why not we adopt? And the best part was not that we both connected with this idea. The best part was our daughter, who was just 6 years at that time, right? Six years. She connected with this idea,
Mm.
and not just she connected, she kind of took the responsibility. Okay, I will take care of him. You don't too much worry about it. And she still does. Meaning that. So I think that was amazing. How that journey unfolded, and while we didn't really had any doubt per se, but it just happened so beautifully. And as Aiti mentioned earlier, all our other family members, though they were all initially skeptical, but they soon when they saw the child, they were like, okay, yeah, this is fine. Meaning they see, you have theories about gene pool and this and that, and who are these parents and what caste and what, all
Oh,
of those are theories. But when you see a child, right, then the only language is of, let's say, with affection, love, or whatever.
and
I think
and
there's no, because there's no words. The 6-month-old baby is not going to talk to you and say, I was this and I was that.
and
So it's just
and, ca-
automatic.
and on top of it, can you imagine my mother saying sorry to me after a few years, saying that I was ignorant?
how?
that was the reason. Possibly I have never heard about this, means never experienced this, so I'm ignorant. So in the beginning I did oppose to it, but I'm so so grateful that you did this. And she said, I don't even feel anything wrong. She said, kabhi humne kiya nahi hai, so I just,
So, no, we have not.
it was so sweet that somebody's parents to be at that level, I guess. Those,
Actually acknowledging it after some time, because normally the parents, they very
not
much.
only acknowledging, also saying that I was wrong. Not that we considered it that she was wrong or anything. We just accepted it. Okay, the way initially they little opposed, and then soon all came together and kind of thing. But even that, she acknowledged that, I'm sorry in that sense that I did it. I was ignorant. I was so beautiful to learn from her that how to say sorry. Yeah. So, and yeah, and a lot of other small incidences, being here in campus, and being the way the community coming together, the way parents coming together. It's quite beautiful, quite nice how.
Great. That's so lovely interacting with you. Every time I listen to you, even I think I get into my a different mode and zone where I start, not only being in the present, planning ahead. Where is I have to change me a bit more. So that's really beautiful. I think I would like to enter into the zone where you can just convey a message to the viewers. It's going YouTube live. Probably we'll be making it more. We'll send the recordings to people. A message for life, a message for success. Normally, people confuse success. They believe if I'm successful, only then my life is better. And if I am into a very, healthy and wealthy, like Ratnesh mentioned, we are busy in the wealth collections and everything. What is life exactly? And how much do we need for life? How much do we need to excel, to be successful? In fact, this is going to be a message to the youth as well. You and me, we understand, but these adolescents, the young adults, they have a very different perspective towards life, which I really respect. But then, okay, a message from you for them, that even if there is less, you can have more out of it. What is that you would like to say?
So yeah, so before I share my whatever thought, I think in our case it has been the other way around. Our daughter has created a lot of changes in our the way she looks at, say, money, or the way she looks at success, or the way she looks at sharing. She's just 22, and there's a lot of transformation has happened in me by seeing her, her her vision and her mission. She's into uh, sustainability, not too much campaigning and all that, just doing her own bit by say making products which are reachable to people. And she's not talking about business. She's, although she's running, she's not talking about money, although she's taking care of customers, but she's not talking about
Marketing.
deals and marketing and
Right.
lot of different questions, things like, what's the meaning of love, all these campaigns that uh, Valentine's Day gift to people or gift to this. She just she's sometimes me and Ratni say you are above us kind of a thing.
She's supposed to be. In fact, she's been brought up by you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that sense, if I want to put it, I would say the best thing would be to question, to question and not get on, let's say, a train just because everybody else is getting on that train. If
Yeah.
everybody else is doing MBA, why? If everybody else is going for a job, why? If everybody is doing this way, why? If everybody is giving a Valentine, why? Just ask why. Not that you don't need to do it or you shouldn't do it. That's not the point. But the more we ask why, the more I think we will get our own answers.
And I also want to add, in addition to that, why I think action makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people question a lot of different people, but when the action is not there, then there is a hollowness inside me. I'm just talking about it.
And I'm not doing something towards
Yeah,
it.
I'm not doing something. So when I do, I think that hollowness disappears. Then those questions leads to something which can hold you.
Right.
So yeah, so I think that's
Yeah, not merely questioning, but
uh-huh.
questioning and then doing something about it if it looks like worth doing something.
And then whether when then all failures are fine, not failure in terms of people, but failing in something and doing and creating and making, and I think then there's a lot of things in life to experience.
Hmm. Yeah. Even I have a lot of examples of my children. I can now relate to what you're saying, that they indulge in so many things. They do one, they're not able to drop, they go to the second, they go to the third, and they're questioning themselves, and there is no pressure from the outside of the parents and the ecosystem. So they're able to arrive
Yeah.
somewhere in time. I don't know, I feel so, because if there is a stretch from the outside world, their timelines go elaborated, and on the way they kind of start losing their own self, and their um, journey elaborates. Right. It was so beautiful, Aditi and Ratnesh, interacting with you. This is not the only session I'm going to have with you. So you have to be ready for our next session for the viewers, because it has just begun. Today's session is like, okay, it's like you're just lighting a candle. Now it has to burn, it has to create that light for the whole room and the people to feel that warmth. So probably I would love to have more communications with you to arrive, and then I can say, okay, I now know story of Ratnesh. And my personal interest is to compress my timeline. I want to talk to each one of the person who have actually made a mark, and understand where from they're coming, and keep on, doing those adjustments into my list, where I can tweak a bit and adjust and arrive an outcome by understanding how people behave in different situations. So beautiful. Thank you, Ratnesh. Thank you, Aditi, for being on the platform of Inside Out. We'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sonal.
so much. Our pleasure.
Love you both a lot. Convey my love, hugs, everything to the whole community of Aarohi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.